years, guys. Only did it for a year.
Just years.
No, just
Stupid
1 year.
idiot.
Just 1 year.
Can't even count.
Going on 2 years. Like another year. Don't ask questions. Don't ask questions.
Just watch
the fucking bro. Oh wow. That's gonna be fun. What's going on, everybody, from the Ghost Named Greg channel? Welcome back for the newest installment on the channel. This is going to be Shoot Your Shot with the Ghost Named Greg and my man to my left who's going to introduce himself. Go ahead. Take it away, champ.
Hey guys, how's it going? This is the American Daydreamer, Dustin. Hope you enjoy the show.
ADDD.
God damn it.
ADDD, and we can't even we got to get you a selfie stick, son.
I know.
Well, either way, this is going to be the new group. There's, I guess, been like a falling out, I guess, of sorts with me and the PVGA. I haven't heard anything back from them in about like 2 months, so I don't know exactly what's going on. The guy that I originally was doing the To Be Named podcast with decided to do his own show called Wrestling Marks. So I guess kudos to them, and I guess I moved on and got a gentleman that I spent many of wrestling matches with, someone who I believe knows and loves wrestling just as much as I do, and someone I can more relate to. And that's why I went in. I called in the big guns who are willing to come in and partake in our show here. So I'm happy to have you, my friend.
Thanks, man.
And this show is going to be a little bit different than the To Be Named podcast. We're going to break down some of the things we liked over the week. Some things we're going to be speculating get on over the week. And then you should expect to see this. This one will be out. We're filming this on the 6th, which is a Thursday. This should be out tomorrow or on Friday. So hopefully we're going to have this out for you ASAP. And you can get our thoughts on what we think is going to happen. So getting into a little bit of what we want to talk about, I want to make the speculation that when they had the entire Kenny Omega segment last night, and I'm going to get into how great Kenny Omega is as well.
For sure.
You got Nakazawa coming out with the belts, looking all fucking machismoed up and vibing, while Kenny Omega looks as good as he does in the all white suit with the AEW belt on, looking like a goddamn god that he is. But it more showed that they were talking about how Pac and Orange Cassidy are going to be fighting for the belt, or fighting for the number one contendership for the belt on next week's Dynamite. And it feels like it was a little bit spoiled, if you don't think.
It's definitely spoiled. You can't even tell me that Pac has a chance after that pyramid last night.
Well, not only that, but it's more so just the way they presented Orange Cassidy and the way that they did. First off, if you're going to put the main event on a Dynamite or make it a main event on the show, Orange Cassidy versus Kenny Omega is going to sell Boko bucks.
It will.
So if you're going to be playing that angle, maybe not have Orange Cassidy have this weird stay down with Kenny Omega during his little segment right before the Blood and Guts match. Sure. And maybe just kind of like let the speculation build, because everyone's going to want to see Orange Cassidy versus Pac again. But this time it's going to probably be for a bigger picture, which would be the number one contendership to face Kenny Omega. But the way that they presented him, okay, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Orange Cassidy win next week and then watch him get completely decimated.
Yeah, he'll probably have a shocking win next week. It might even be because of Kenny Omega, honestly, because Kenny doesn't see him as a threat.
So he's going to definitely attack a weaker one, because as you could tell in the whole promo he was cutting, he was literally, talking about how Pac was, this great champion who pushed him to his limit, who's beat him. Yep. So it's going to be interesting. I know for sure that Pac does play very much of a threat to Kenny Omega and that championship. However, I think Pac's time is maybe with a TNT title or tag team titles right before we think about throwing him into the world heavyweight title picture, and just because of his name. But even if you want to get into the TNT title picture, I think there's going to be something going on when Miro gets his shot at Darby Allin,
Yeah,
because
he's gonna face him next week, I think.
he's going to face him next week. But you know who's lurking in the background, like foreseeing this, and who's probably going to screw him out of this title opportunity.
What, you think it's gonna be Kip Sabian?
There is no doubt in my mind. If you follow Kip on Twitter like I do, you've seen that he's been kind of like he's been watching from behind after he got his ass beat that 1 week on Dynamite. But so he's been lurking, and I feel like when the time comes where that TNT title may come in, chances of being in the hands of Miro, don't be surprised if Kip Sabian or Penelope Ford come out there and stir some stuff up. And I think that's going to be a good rivalry itself.
It should be good. They've done enough together over the last past, how long has it been? A year almost?
It's been about a year, I would say. Yeah, I guess you can say that about now.
Yeah.
AEW has been around a lot longer than my podcast has. So, I mean, I can definitely say that. And it's I think that's going to be very interesting dynamic. Miro's obviously making his huge push for trying to, get more belts. And by God, I mean, the guy probably should. However, I feel like right now with how everything's playing out with Kip Sabian, it's probably been more like a Kip versus Miro deal rather than let's give the TNT title to Miro and make it a solidified belt.
Yeah, but you got Ethan Page and Scorpio in the background as well.
And
so,
I think that's interesting as well, too, because what are they going to do with those two against Darby Allin? They could do like a handicap match and they share the TNT title?
I don't know. They might either do that or they're just going to have another tag team match with Sting and Darby versus those two at Double or Nothing.
And I think I might actually be like another cinematic match. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I don't think Sting's going to be doing anything legit.
I can agree with that, but either way, his cinematic matches are fantastic. So I'm not going to say no to it. If you can tell by the Sting versus Brian Cage, or Sting Darby Allin versus Brian Cage and Ricky Starks, probably one of my favorite cinematic matches I've ever seen. I get a lot of praise for the Undertaker one, like that one's cool, but
it was good.
I feel like that one maybe stepped it up a little bit more. I think there was more thought into it, more than, I guess, let's bring in Gallows and Anderson. Then like 2 weeks later, let's pretend like they never existed.
They were gone the day after,
which
I never understood it, but
it is just the way it is in WWE, because WWE doesn't know how to manage their character. They don't know how to manage their people. Another interesting match I liked a lot, actually. I don't know how you felt about it too much, but the Cody Rhodes QT Marshall match, I was a little suspect on. I didn't know how good it was going to be. And then you watch it and you're like, wow, I didn't know QT had that in him. That was at least probably like a 4-star match.
Mean, I definitely was shocked he kicked out of Crossroads, no doubt.
I think it was kind of a bitch move for him to kick out of the Crossroads, but tap out to the figure 4 leg lock. So, I mean, if I was him, I would have more so maybe tried to break the figure 4 leg lock than kick out of the Crossroads.
What I think it pretty much just set up Anthony Ogogo to become the main face of that faction.
I can agree with that as well, but again, a guy that we've discussed before who just throws a left punch to the body is really not that intimidating.
He's kind of like your favorite wrestler, Josh Woods.
Is that dude still wrestling? Because he was bad.
I honestly haven't paid attention to Ring of Honor much, so I couldn't tell you.
No disrespect to you, Josh Woods, but I cannot stand watching you in the wrestling ring. Watching guys like, Matt Riddle, who did the MMA thing and went off to, go and make it look good. Or even guys like Shinsuke Nakamura, who, people don't understand is really like a mixed martial arts master.
Mm-hmm.
They are entertaining. Josh Woods, you are not. And then that gets you into a little bit of the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks just are,
they're assholes.
Killing the business every week, and I love every second of it. I feel like I'm going back to whenever I got into watching the Bullet Club
Yeah.
back to watching like the Young Bucks, I'm getting that feeling again, where I'm like, fuck yes, like the fuck everybody, dude. They're the best. They're gonna fucking show it right the fuck here.
I
I
mean, they're
apologize for
gonna.
the profanity, but I mean the Young Bucks would approve.
I
Christian
mean,
AF.
the Young Bucks are going to end SCU's run in wrestling, so
And
that's gonna.
that was also set up from weeks, and that's what's great about AEW as well. AEW is great at planting these little seeds that you really have to pay attention to the program to really see. And I didn't know about this till I watched Walt Culture so much, and Walt's Culture said, kind of like hints out these things, and I'm like, oh, I can see that now. Now, could it be he say, she say? Could that be, fake news? Yeah, probably. But I'm gonna that gives the fan more incentive to like pay attention to the program. Try to pick out little nidbits that you can find. That's how I'm starting to see, like, I think I even discussed this in the podcast when the Young Bucks were in the process of going from face to heel. Like I knew it was coming, and I was trying to pick up on the signs and watch everything, watch their movements, how they were acting.
I mean, every week it was
it.
something. It was something with Kenny every week.
And I mean, I think that's where I think our podcast went down, because I called it. He couldn't, he didn't want to accept the fact that I called it, which I did. And here we are. But then again, if you pay attention to BT, if you pay attention to the Dynamite, if you pay attention to just everything that the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega do, I think and this is going to be super biased because I'm the biggest fan of all three of them together.
Yeah.
That I could see it coming because I really love these guys and I'm passionate about them and they're my favorite. That I feel like I'm a part of that. I'm a part of that. I'm like, fuck it, dude. You're the best in the world for a reason. Show it every fucking week.
I mean, the night that they had Young Bucks with Mox versus the Good Brothers and Kenny, you knew how it was going to end. They weren't going to beat up Kenny.
Well, and that was one thing I was like, that was where I thought my heel turn of the Young Bucks was in jeopardy, because I thought that they were actually going to go BTE trigger him. And when I saw him stop, I'm like, oh shit, I'm about to get right. I'm about to be right. What happens a couple seconds later? They don't do the BTE trigger. Moxley gets frustrated, starts beating the shit out of Kenny. And I guess in Japan they call it the Death Rider, his pendulum shift. Yeah, because I don't know if you paid attention to the promo videos that they were saying, but they kept saying, I don't know if they were just calling him the Death Rider or the move the Death Rider. I thought it was cool, but I'm gonna say he hit him with 2 pendulum shifts, and then that's when the Young Bucks were like, "No, we can't have this." Ooh.
They weren't gonna let their boy get too much.
It was kind of shocking because of how everything kind of played out. But like I said, if you pay attention, especially after the smack from Don Callis and how Matt grabbed him and let him go, like if Matt was really like that bad and was afraid he was going to lose Kenny, he would have beat the shit out of him and just said, fuck it.
That's true.
However, he pulled him in and he let him go, and he really thought about it. He's like, you know what? Maybe I am missing my edge, because my edge, Matt Jackson, would have beat the crap out of this guy. And yes, I didn't swear there. I would have beat the crap out of this guy. However, I let him go, and it made me think, and I talked to Nick, and it's like, you know what? Maybe we are missing that edge, and here we go. We got, what was the first night? Nike Dior Young Bucks, which was phenomenal. Those dudes are
good.
You can never, I don't even care if they take the flamboyant shit that they do with their little feathers on their leg straps or whatever, the little streamers. I like this version way more than any of those streamer versions, because these guys are like, and again, it's not to suck the Young Bucks dick any more than I already have, but their new tweet that says new in bio, and you just I read the bio every time. I'm probably I'm batting 1,000. I'm almost positive.
Batting 1,000.
It's not the Pittsburgh Pirates we're talking about here. We don't know how that goes.
We know what they're about. They got nothing right now.
Well, they are the worst team in baseball, in my opinion. Whether we're going off topic here, ladies and gentlemen. This will all be cut out. You guys won't see any of this. This is all cut off. But what are your thoughts?
About the Pirates
No,
or
not
anything else?
about what I was saying.
Man, the Young Bucks are probably going to be tag champs for like the next year and a half if they want to be.
If someone was to go ahead and go against the Young Bucks right now, who would it be to go ahead and take those belts away from them? You think? Because
Mox and Eddie Kingston are the only
I
two that
don't,
come to mind.
I don't think Mox and Kingston are going to do it because Mox first is going to have a kid relatively soon.
Yeah,
Two, I think them being friends is cool, but them being tag champions is a little bit.
yeah.
Could it happen in the storyline? Probably, just to get back at them. However, I feel like there may be another tag team coming into this whole mix of what's going to happen, or they're going to probably go and maybe even have someone like Top Flight, or I'm trying to think of another, like even Jurassic Express possibly get a shot and probably win those belts from them.
Speaking of Eddie and Mox, though, they could come into play in this tag team match against SCU next week. They could be the reason.
That is a very good point, and I will definitely keep that noted for next week whenever I'm watching Dynamite for sure.
Yep.
But if you want to get into something that's probably the most serious, it's probably the Chris Jericho not taking the big of a bump as you would want, huh?
I mean, he fell off the cage, but you can tell where he fell. It was padded heavily. So the camera angle definitely needed some work on that.
Well, I could definitely tell even like the steel part, like where the what they call it, the steel grate or whatever. You can definitely tell that was like some plastic or something like that.
It was definitely paper mache.
However, don't let that, like, we get that, but the whole entire match was just freaking amazing. Where on free television are you gonna get a match like that you can see for free?
The only thing I would have done is try to get rid of your picture-in-picture earlier on in the day because that took away from it a little bit.
And I love the picture-in-picture. I think it's a great aspect.
Yeah.
Because it's better than just like basic going away from the action and all of a sudden one dude's in control. Now the other person's beating the crap out of the person. You're like, well, what the hell happened in a 30-second ad break? For a main event like that, like you said, you would need to get all your advertisements out of the way because if you want that main event to be premiere, you want that to be like a complete. Because I think it was a 45-minute match.
It was definitely something like that.
So a 45-minute match, you should literally have no commercial breaks for that because you don't want your people's eyes leave that screen. I know me personally, I got to watch it the next day. I didn't even see any of the pictures from pictures because I was watching the next day like a jackass because I was too busy watching role-playing streams the night before. But I caught up and watched it all this morning, so I had something to talk about with you guys today. But Blood and Guts definitely was probably one of the best matches of 2021. The Stadium Stampede match was good. I actually think the Stadium Stampede match was better just because the finish was so much more electric than Sammy Guevara basically surrendering at the end and then Chris Jericho getting thrown off maybe 6 feet.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up the Stadium Stampede because I'm pretty confident they're going to do that again at the pay-per-view.
I would imagine they would because it was such a hit. I mean, you're dumb not to do it. Daly's Place is literally you maybe walk like 150 feet off the field and you're in Daly's Place.
Pretty much.
So I mean, you're dumb not to do it there. Whatever Chris Jericho decides to do, you can't say no. You can't not sing his theme music after every time he comes out. You got to embrace the man and enjoy him for what he is.
We probably only have 2 to 3 years left of him, so enjoy him now.
And then you got those 2 or 3 years, and then you probably see him more as a managerial role. And I think he's going to kill that, or color commentary.
He'll commentary, or he'll just go away. Either way.
He's been known to go away, but he's also always came back.
He's always come back. As long as he has Fozzy, he has side projects. You just never nail with him.
Last little bit of AEW news I want to get into. So I came to the conclusion that Britt Baker is going to win this belt from Hikaru Shida.
It's pretty obvious.
She's going to have at least 3 to 4 title defenses. This is all projected from me. She's going to win them all. You know who she's going to lose to?
To Neil Dashwood.
Close, but not at all. But realistically, do you have an idea who she's actually going to lose to?
Uh, Honestly, no.
So think of her booking with Thunder Rosa.
Yeah.
So she's got the win over Thunder Rosa at uh, Beach Break, right?
Yep.
And then there was the unsanctioned match that Thunder Rosa won, but it was unsanctioned.
So it doesn't count.
So how it's going to work is whenever Hikaru Shida faces Britt Baker for the AEW Women's Championship, Britt Baker will win the championship, have 3 or 4 successful title offenses, and then she'll go right back to Thunder Rosa, and that's where she'll lose her belt. Because realistically, on paper, Thunder Rosa doesn't have that win over Britt Baker, but Britt Baker does have that one win over Thunder Rosa, which realistically, if you want to put those two in a feud, because you're going to have to put a heel against a face, the best face to put against the heel at probably down this line is more than likely Thunder Rosa. There's no other option.
If she stays face, yeah, you're probably right.
I feel like her only option would be to stay face because she came in as face and she's been kind of killing it. And having that type of face who, mainly pertains to like the Mexican demographic. So a lot of like the Mexican demographic, the Latina demographic, and obviously other types of women who hate Britt Baker are obviously going to jump onto her side, and they're going to push for her to try to win this match. So it just kind of makes sense from that standpoint. But I do believe it's time for the women's belt to change hands. You give it to your hottest heel at the moment in time, and then have her defend it for a little while. Then when you feel like if it's time to change hands with Thunder Rosa, you make that change, and you still have it protected with some really good wrestling.
Makes sense. I mean, they're thinking of 100% capacity at the next pay-per-view, so give them some moments.
I mean, it's because it'd be stupid to kind of put Shida out there against Britt Baker, and you've been pushing her and doing all this work for her over the last couple months, if you think about it.
I mean, if you think about it, Britt's lost every major match that she's been put in.
So wouldn't it feel right for her to beat Shida this one time, have a nice run with the belt, then whenever they feel like she needs to drop it off, boom, there's Thunder Rosa right there. Or you could probably even put Penelope Ford as a face.
Yeah.
But then again, I feel like that's more of a project because as great as I think she's going to be, she still's got some more time, I think, to develop a little bit more to be the face of the women's division.
And you also have to think about if she comes back anytime soon, Anna Jay.
That's true, too. We all know how powerful she is. She was actually the one who was supposed to be facing Hikaru Shida for that belt before Ty Conti, correct?
I think so.
It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. But, with all that AEW news, that's all we got for that. But I want to get into our local and independent promotion here on the Pittsburgh area. Yes. IWC is coming back on May 29th. They're going to be at the Washington Wild Things Stadium. I know I'm going to be there. I know for damn sure my man over ADDD is going to be here.
You know it.
So, I mean, I hope everyone else shows up. I can't wait to see Nick. I know Nick and I were supposed to take a picture. That's what we agreed on the last time he came on to the Ghost Zone. And I'm excited to, bullshit with him for a little bit. Maybe talk to Mr. Plummer. But, I'm really excited for that, as well as I think they actually are going to be having a promotion. I believe it's June 9th. I believe it's June 9th, and they're going to be forming with Northeastern Wrestling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they're two going to be coming together, and I believe that's going to be the Brownsville Drive-In or the Elizabeth Center. So we're going to have to make it out to that for sure. I know that's something I'm excited for. I'd love seeing my guy Andrew Palace, because we already talked about Nick and I have talked about how Andrew Palace was such a great athlete, and then 3 days later, here he goes getting a shot going to AEW on Dark and on Elevation. I mean, granted, they weren't the most successful, but you got Andrew Palace out there. Everyone got to see how crazy the gentleman is and how good of a wrestler he is, as well as Bill Collier, as well as the main event, as well as the young guys, Spencer Slade and Cole Carter. I believe, I can't remember her name off the top of my head because I always mess it up, but the Queen, Queen. I don't want to butcher her
Your
last.
girl, she's the champ right now, right?
No, that's Katie Arquette. I do love Katie Arquette,
I know who you're talking about, the
but
queen.
yeah, I can't. It's an African name. I just can't think of it. But she also made an appearance as well, so that's awesome for her. I really, really feel bad for not knowing your name off the top of my head. I thought I was gonna be able to remember it. I guess that's bad journalism on my part. Shoot me. I've only been doing this for years, guys. Only did it for a year.
Just years.
No, just 1 year. Idiot. Just 1 year.
Can't even count.
What's going on? Going on 2 years. Like another year. Don't ask questions. Don't ask questions.
Just watch.
Watch the fucking bro. Oh wow, that's gonna be fun. But I hope everyone gets a chance to make it out there. I know I'm gonna be sitting in front row. As front row as we can during this pandemic.
Yeah.
But that's usually how my cookie crumbles as far as going into any IWC or any Ring of Honor show I go to, as well as the AEW show. When the AEW shows start coming back around, I will definitely try getting us front row tickets for that. We're going to be vlogging the events. I will be vlogging our event, so make sure you guys keep up with that whenever we do go to the event.
For real?
I noticed right there. I just said event about 6 times, but it is what
the
it
event.
Is. The event.
The main event.
Maybe we'll run into the main event. You never know, man.
We might run into this guy too. Some big league action.
Mr. Big League John McChesney. Well, all I know is if I run into the dime piece or Katie Arquette, I'll be all right.
You'll run into the dime piece, no doubt.
All right. So, anything else you want to say? Oh, also don't forget about Bill Collier. He was also in AEW as well, also tearing it up. He had a bomb ass match with John Moxley as an Injured Palace, our IWC heavyweight champion.
He's our champ for now, at least.
He's gonna be our champ for a while, I'm thinking.
I mean, as long as the pandemic's going on, who else can you really give it to, right?
Wow, that's disrespectful to Injured Palace, and I'm gonna hold you in contempt for that. So, with that all being said and done, sir, do you have? I wanted to get one last thing out of you.
Okay, I got one thing.
You got one thing?
Yes.
What was
Daniel Bryan?
Ooh,
he's no longer with WWE, I heard.
So Daniel Bryan's contract did end after his match with Roman Reigns. Was it last week on SmackDown, or was it at the paper or at the? Okay, so it was at SmackDown. I did read reports about this. What is next for Daniel Bryan, do you think, though? Because you got to think, this guy's going to be 37. He can still go. We've all seen him that. The WWE doesn't think he can go because they don't know how to properly book the gentleman. Although they did put him in I lied. Because him versus Roman Reigns was a fantastic feud. But everyone wants Daniel Bryan to win. But in that position, Roman Reigns, then if you take the belt off Roman Reigns, you're just an idiot.
You know what I think's going to happen with Daniel Bryan? He's not allowed to wrestle for 90 days. He's going to show up at AEW's September pay-per-view All Out. And that's how it's going to end.
Well, isn't it when a wrestler's contract expires, there's no 90 days, I thought.
Is it? I don't know for sure.
Again, neither one of us, ladies and gentlemen, are contract, notifiers or whatever you want to call us. So we don't exactly know as far as the contract details, but I'm almost positive if you get released, there's a 90-day complete or non-complete clause. However, if a contract runs out, well, what do they have in that contract that makes you not be able to compete for 90 days?
We'll see. I still think he'll take time with the family for the summer. And I do think we'll see him in AEW at some point.
I think we should, but another place I would like to see Mr. Bryan Danielson, TNA.
That's what it'll be.
I think TNA be a very good fit with him. Look, that face was one thing. However, the Impact Zone is really putting out some really good wrestling as of late. They're being the thing to watch, Thursday night on Twitch.tv for us. So for free wrestling you're going to be watching on Twitch, it's probably some of the best wrestling at least to watch on a Thursday, and they've had some really good matches. Some of their matches, like have there some of the matches been good. Their storylines, on the other hand, have been flaky.
Either way, the only way you bring Daniel Bryan in to either promotion is with Kenny Omega right there. He either challenges for the Impact title or he'll challenge for the AEW title down the road.
So hypothetically, if Daniel Bryan does come into AEW and they grant him this title shot, do you give it to him?
I would.
I think the smart answer would be to give it to him, because if you think about it, you want to solidify this guy who's been sacrificing everything for WWE and has been getting nothing but Intercontinental Championships. Kind of makes sense.
Who else is going to beat Kenny? That makes sense. To be honest, you can think of somebody.
I've been trying to think of somebody. And if he wasn't a heel, yeah, MJF would be great to beat him if he wasn't a heel. But since you got heel Kenny, the only person I can think of is Jungle Boy Jack Perry, but he's still got a ways to go.
He's got years. Him and MJF will be fighting for that title for years.
And that might be one of the hottest feuds in the next couple of years.
It will be. For sure.
All right. Well, with all that wrestling stuff set aside, if you have anything else to say to him, ADDD?
Just keep him wanting more.
Keep them wanting more, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you guys check into us next week. We'll be back next Sunday or possibly next Monday. Same time, same place, same stupid faces. But you know what we do? We shoot that shit straight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the ghost who knows the most, the ghost named Greg. Catch me on Twitter at the ghost named Greg. You can check ADD whenever he feels like he can go ahead and get everything situated. But until then, make sure you guys take care and take it easy. Peace.